What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are absolutely jumping straight into the deep end because the leaks for Wuthering Waves version 3.1 have just dropped. And I'm going to be honest with you, this update is looking absolutely packed. I know we say this a lot, but this time we are talking about a serious content injection. We have brand new 5-star characters, some highly anticipated reruns, entirely new echo sets, a new weekly boss, and, get this, quality of life changes that actually sound meaningful and game-changing. There is a ton to cover here, so we are not going to waste any time. But real quick, before we dive in, just a friendly reminder, everything we are discussing today is based on leaks. As always, take this information with a grain of salt, because details, numbers, and translations can always change before the official release. Alright, let's get into it. Buy 6,480 Lunites with 3.0 limited pack for only $82 at lootbar.gg. Returning users get an extra 5% off coupon. Link in the description. Let's kick things off with the banners, because Phase 1 is coming out swinging. The big debut here, the headliner, is Emeth. She is a 5-star fusion sword DPS, and from what we are seeing of her kit, she sounds genuinely insane. Her gameplay loop revolves around a transformation mechanic where she can freely switch between a base form and a mech form. This isn't just cosmetic. Depending on her form, she operates in either Tune Rupture or Fusion Burst resonance modes. The goal seems to be building up synchronization and resonance rates, so there is definitely a resource management aspect to her. But what really stands out to me is her team synergy. The leaks suggest she converts team-triggered debuffs into short burst amplifications. This is huge because it means her damage potential isn't just about her own stats. It is closely tied to smart team play and how well you can layer those debuffs. All of this builds up to her ultimate move, the Starbreak Falls finale. This is described as a massive resonance liberation nuke. It sounds like it's going to reward players who have precise timing and coordination. She definitely sounds like a character with a lot of depth, one of those units that feels incredibly rewarding once you get the rotation to click. Now, we have to talk about her signature weapon, because the stats on this thing are impressive. We are looking at a 587 base attack and a 24.3% crit rate substat. That crit rate is always valuable. The passive is where it gets spicy. It increases all attribute damage by 12% right off the bat. But it goes further. When you inflict Tune Rupture, Shifting, or Fusion Burst, her resonance liberation damage ignores 32% of enemy defense and 10% of fusion resistance for 8 seconds. Defense Ignore is one of the strongest multipliers in the game, and getting 32% on top of Fusion Shred? That is a huge amount of value packed into a single weapon. There is another major highlight for version 3.1 that I know a lot of you have been waiting for. Rover is finally getting a fusion element. This has been on the wish list for a long time, so seeing it finally happen is great. And as a little bonus, leaks say Rover is also receiving their school uniform skin, which is a nice extra touch for the immersion lovers out there. Sharing the Phase 1 spotlight with Emeth is Chisa. She is a 5-star Havoc character who uses a broad blade, but she is serving as a supportive debuffer and healer. We always need more role consolidation, so a healer who can debuff is shaping up to be a very strong utility pick. Joining Chisa and Amy on the banner is Lupa, who is getting yet another rerun. If you missed Lupa before, here is your chance. For the 4 stars in Phase 1, the lineup is said to be Tauki, Yuanwu, and Alto. That is a fairly solid selection if you are looking to fill out some constellations. Moving on to Phase 2, things stay just as interesting. We are being introduced to Luke Herson, a 5-star Spectro Gauntlets DPS. This guy sounds incredibly fun to play because he specializes in aerial combat and basic attack-focused damage. His playstyle revolves around mid-air combos and teleporting skills that apply something called Tune Strain. This fuels his I-core flow. Once you have built that up, he enters the Orient Judge state. In this state, his execution sequences and plunge finishers get empowered. Overall, Luke sounds like a sustained, high-pressure DPS. He is going to reward good timing and strong team coordination, keeping that pressure on the enemy constantly. His signature weapon reflects this aggressive style perfectly. Like Amy's weapon, it has 587 base attack and that sweet 24.3% crit rate substat, along with a passive that boosts attack by 12%. The passive effect here is really interesting. Casting intro skills or resonance skills grants a 20% basic attack damage amplification for 6 seconds. And then, dealing basic attack damage increases spectro damage by 20% and allows him to ignore 10% of enemy defense for a short duration. Everything about this kit is designed to keep him constantly attacking. Also appearing in Phase 2 is Galbrina. She is a 5-star fusion pistol user, and her kit is all about building stacks of Sin Flame and After Flame. Once those stacks are maxed out, she transforms into her demon hypostasis state. Rounding out the 5 stars for Phase 2 is Cantarella, a 5-star Havoc sub-DPS and support using a rectifier. However, the leaks are a bit fuzzy here. It is still unclear whether this will actually be her rerun, or if plans might change. For the 4 stars in Phase 2, we are looking at Sanhua, Lumi, and Mortifi. Okay, let's move away from the banners for a second and talk about actual content, because there is a massive amount of stuff to go through here. First off, map expansion. We might be getting up to 5 new maps. On its own, that is a huge addition to the explorable world. With new areas come new threats. We are getting a brand new weekly boss called Singilum. The echo skill for this boss sounds wildly fun. It transforms you into Singilum and lets you perform a high-speed charge that deals 273.6% fusion damage to all enemies in your path. And here is where the synergy kicks in. When this echo is equipped in the primary slot and your current resonator is Amith, the new fusion sword user we just talked about, her resonance liberation damage gets a 25% bonus. That synergy feels very intentional, basically locking this boss in as her best in-slot echo. There is also a new 4-cost echo called the Nameless Explorer. Its skill summons the Explorer to perform a piercing attack, dealing 273.6% arrow damage. When equipped in the primary slot, it boosts arrow damage by 12% and echo skill damage by 20%. Alongside these, we have a laundry list of new echoes being added. The names are Chronobite, Chronoclaw, Glowert, Frostlight Dancer, and Shadowstaff Smith. We are also getting new Phantom Echoes, so new skins for your echoes, including Phantom Singilum, Phantom Frostbite Colioid, and Phantom Zip Zap. Plus, there is a new tactical hologram called Hyvatia for those of you who want to test your DPS limits. Version 3.1 is introducing 3 brand new echo sets, and the set bonuses look very specific. 1. Sound of True Name. This is clearly the arrow set. 2-piece, increases arrow damage by 10%. 5-piece, activates after dealing echo skill damage. It boosts the resonator's echo skill crit rate by 20% and grants a 15% arrow damage bonus for 5 seconds. This seems perfect for bursty arrow characters who rely on their echo nuke. 2. Chromatic Foam. This looks like a fusion support set. 2-piece, increases fusion damage by 10%. 5-piece, activates when the resonator inflicts Fusion Burst. It grants a 10% fusion damage bonus for 15 seconds. While active, casting an outro skill grants the incoming resonator a 25% fusion damage bonus for 15 seconds, or until they switch out. This is going to be incredible for fusion teams. 3. Trailblazing Star. This is the fusion DPS set. 2-piece, increases fusion damage by 10%. 5-piece, triggers when the wearer applies Fusion Burst or Tune Rupture/Shifting. It increases crit rate by 20% and grants a 20% fusion damage bonus for 8 seconds. This set is practically tailor-made for Emeth's kit. Finally, let's talk about quality of life changes, because there are some notable ones here that could change how we play daily. First, exploration. A new overworld mechanic called Mecha Piloting is planned for a future La Heroi patch, and it will be available to all characters. This could significantly change the feel of exploration. But the one everyone is going to be talking about is the Echo Substat locking system. Yes, you heard that right. Leaks suggest a potential system where you can lock the substats you want to keep and roll the rest. This is massive for min-maxing. However, there is a catch. Locking more substats will increase the cost, so finding that balance is going to be something to watch closely. The motorcycle is also getting an update. They are adding a Frost Dash function, which allows the motorcycle to travel on water at certain depths. The motorcycle skill tree is also being expanded with new modules, buffs, and effects you can unlock. In addition to all that, basic movement and controls for certain resonators are being optimized, which is always welcome. And we have updates planned for Whimpering Wastes, Tower of Adversity, and something called the Doubled Pawns Matrix. Before we wrap up, there was a cryptic bit of dialogue leaked at the end of the info dump. It mentions a ranger doning and a crimson blade saying, "Worry not, my crimson blade will not harm you. This flower is for you. I hope it makes you happy." This could be a cutscene teaser or maybe some lore related to the new characters. We'll have to wait and see. So, now that everything is on the table, I have to ask, who are you most excited to pull for in version 3.1? Personally, Ameth is really standing out to me with that mech form. This update is shaping up to be seriously stacked. New characters, reruns, echo sets, a weekly boss, and those solid quality of life improvements. If you enjoyed this breakdown or found it helpful, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss future leak updates. Until next time, take care, stay safe, and stay hyped. Buy 6,480 Lunites with 3.0 limited pack for only $82 at lootbar.gg. Returning users get an extra 5% off coupon. Link in the description.